Hi, so I just saw something very interesting. I found out about Jeff Bezos' wedding. And what did he do? So we're going to break this down a little bit. Vows and narratives. Now, some of you may already figured this out. What kind of vow he made? What kind of narrative is going on? So if you don't know, he rented out the town of Venice. Put people out of their homes for a wedding to a younger woman after he divorced his wife that he had an affair with. He's a not too old, but an older gentleman, and he's starting to age. So he's starting to feel like he's not relevant, but he wants to stay relevant, and he wants to look like he is top dog. So he invites all these people who have money, are famous, and they are being booed at his wedding. I don't know about you, but would you like to be booed at your own wedding? Let's take this deeper. Now, I know people, I've heard stories of people who don't have as much. And at their wedding, they have said, we are going to make our banquet, our time to feed, the time to eat, we're going to have our wedding to serve on people who are homeless. People have actually done that, where they have created a line and served at their wedding. That was their way of saying we're giving back to the community. Now, I'm not saying people should give their wealth automatically to people who are poor. However, when you displace people because you want something, and then people attend your wedding, all those people, that's on their heads too. That's on their children's heads. You don't displace people out of their homes so you can get married. So all those people have similar narratives and similar vows. Because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of us out there that even with that kind of money, even with that kind of prestige, even with all of that stuff, if we got an invitation like that, we would have probably said, no, it's okay, I don't need to come. I've got other things I've got to do today. We would have backed out and come up with another reason why we couldn't have made it. Even if it was at the last minute and said, oh, I'm sick, I don't feel good. This tells you the character of people. This tells you where their priorities are, it tells you their vows, and it tells you their narratives. It tells you how they view other people, how they view themselves and other people. So let's break down some vows that they could have made. If I'm wealthy and famous, I will be liked. I will be able to have everything I want. People won't be able to say no to me. I don't like people saying no to me. That usually ends on people who tend to have some more mental health issues. And in the dark triad, which is what psychology would say. Psychology would say psychopath. I can never say Melchizedek. I can't even say that word. Or narcissism. Those are the dark triads. So they would fall in that category. But you make a vow before you get to that point. The vulnerable dark triad would be borderline. That's one of the vulnerable dark triads. So, and I think narcissism can be in vulnerable dark triad depending on how that's formed. I've got to relook at my research on that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I remember it was borderline. And so you've got some people who are having mental health issues that are creating this for themselves out of their vows. Vows can actually create a mental health condition. can create for you to be in the dark triad. They can. Because when you make that, that's a way of, when you do that. Now, I'm not saying this from a clinical psychology. This is from what I've observed, okay? So I am not saying anybody there is narcissistic. I am not claiming anybody is anything. I'm just telling you, when you make a vow, it can impact your mental health. That's what I'm saying. Okay? I'm not saying it does. I'm saying it can. Because this is a form of manifestation. We manifest who we think we are, who we think we want to be. Because we're constantly thinking that, we're constantly speaking that. You know people by the words they speak. So let me go a little deeper into this. As I'm not just going to continue to talk about Jeff Bezos, I'm going to talk about something else. On that note, I'll see you next time.